What's going on?
What? What up?
What's happening? What's happening? You got on overalls? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I was looking for some overalls the other day.
What was you gonna do with them?
Wear them, nigga. What the fuck? I'm not gonna just buy them to put them, hang them up.
Just making sure. You know what I'm saying? Damn. Can't ask no questions these days. Huh?
So while we was playing the intro, I asked Tristan, I said, did I show you the new slideshow? He like, no. I'm like, come look. So I was telling him, the one where it was
Yeah, I know it's what you're talking about.
And I was like, yeah, Jay gonna tell Mel, you look gay on there. Wait till you see you.
Not that there's anything wrong with people looking gay.
Very true.
I'm talking about G-H-E-Y.
What?
What?
G-H-E-Y.
G-H-A-Y?
I don't know what that is.
G-H-E-Y.
Oh, I know it was a difference.
G-H-E-Y. Gay, meaning
Gay.
not homosexual.
So what it mean? You're talking about gay, right?
Not homosexual, just.
Okay, so we'll get away from that. How's everybody week?
In the funny sense of the word.
Nicole, how was your week? You got the big move going.
Well, nobody know about that. So
it was good. Next.
I went to my mama's grave.
Did they put the headstone out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
did they fix it?
It don't seem like it's been that long. September will be a whole year.
Yeah.
And all this time, I'm gonna be honest, it just felt like she not gone. Okay. That's just how I've been feeling, like she not gone. But when I saw that headstone, it's almost like I had a nauseating realization that she gone.
I'm gonna tell you now, I am so far the opposite of what you just said. Like, I'm cool, like talking to people do, but I am so sensitive right now to anything. I broke down crying the other day.
Yeah.
I broke down. Somebody asked me about somebody was talking to me about church. And right now, me and you got to come to, how I feel about certain things right now. And so they brought that situation up, and me trying to just explain it, I broke down. I mean, it looked like I smoked a pound of weed. Eyes were so red. I broke down. I couldn't even go no more. Every day. I can't watch too much on TV. I'm crying about some of everything, like not knowing I be crying about stuff happening. Like, don't let nobody parent die in a movie. I'm through. Like, I ain't sniffing and stuff like that, but it's just like uncontrollable tears coming out. I'm like, I ain't through dealing with it. I understand that. So it's like, but every day I ain't. And then, in the crib, we got her obituary still up. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm walking through, talking and stuff. It's rough. it's rough for me. So I just try to keep other stuff in the forefront. But
It's been like I've been cleaning out. The reason why I'm going back to Mississippi before I come there is because I was like, my mama ought to be ashamed of herself. She knows she needed to get some of this stuff away. I mean, I got some clothes that I brought with me. I gave Annie Mae some. 4 boxes, the big moving, large boxes full of clothes. And I still got clothes in that closet I gotta get that I didn't see. I'm like, at least I got the clothes. Turn around and look. It's a whole section over here. Shoes. I brought some with me, gave some with Annie Mae, a whole bag of shoes. That's just what was hanging on the door. Still got 2 racks in the closet. Hats. Gave some to Annie Mae. Purses. I'm just like, Daddy, I'm gonna have to come back because in my mind I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this right quick. Boom, boom, boom. No.
mm,
It's
tough.
stuff. But even doing that, I didn't feel sad until I went to the grave. It's to me, looking at that headstone with her name on it, equivalent to how people feel when they watch the casket being lowered into the grave. You know how some people can't take that and they lose that. That's just how I felt.
How was your week, Jay?
Uh, I was gonna say stressful, but my stress pales in comparison to that. So I just say that I'm transitioning into a new position at work, and I'm taking over for somebody, and it was at a pivotal point in the month. It was in the month, and a lot of stuff was due, and I kind of had caught all the leftover stuff.
Mm,
So I was pushing up against time. I worked a lot of overtime that I don't get paid for this week. So, but
So
other than that, it was good.
you
Uh,
salary
yeah,
yeah, he
that
make that big money.
salary don't make you
He
make a lot of
already
money.
married, ladies.
ain't big money. Ain't nobody paying you no salary that's equivalent to $10.
No, it's not $10, but a lot of companies. So like this is something I learned from corporate America. A lot of companies will salary you because they know that you are in a what do you call a high frequency position. So they know that they're gonna have to work you a lot, and they know that paying somebody fifty,
Overtime.
$60,000 at overtime is a lot of money. So we have salary you, so we don't have to pay you that overtime.
And you gonna say 50, 60 because you know you make
80, 90, you know what I'm saying?
over that.
I just I'm just saying that I learned in corporate America that
I,
they play those type of tricks.
I was making 50, 60.
Mm. Uh, my week been scattered, man. I just been I don't want to say I don't want to say feeling like I'm overwhelmed because I read this it wasn't really a meme. It's a thing a guy put out named Mark Quill. He does marketing for people, but he put this thing out and basically it was like, hey, you not overworked. You not this you in your own fucking way. You know what I'm saying? You like if you need to get up earlier to do shit, you start making a plan, start setting boundaries. Everything he said was like, yeah, I need to do all that shit because I don't with
I don't want to cut off while you're talking about your week, but I hate when people say shit like that. Like to me, I feel like that's a slap in the face to people that really do have like obvious, like sincere struggles. You know what I'm saying? Like your
it
way,
is it
yo,
is,
because like they
but
go back to that same stupid shit Steve Harvey said. You shouldn't be sleeping 8 hours a day if you ain't what do you say if you ain't a millionaire if you ain't some crazy shit like that where you saying basically saying you shouldn't be sleeping 8 hours a day and it's like motherfucker I got kids I got a bunch of other shit going on like to me like don't get me wrong for some people that do ring true but that's not a blanket statement and I
it's
hate
not a
when people
blanket
put it
statement.
out there like that like
Yeah.
it is.
He put it out like it's a blanket statement, but it rang true for me. And so that's the reason I can deal. Like you know me, if it didn't ring true for me, I'd have been like, man, who are you
Right.
talking to? I ain't nobody to like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what nobody going through in their life. They might have to do it, but to me, it ran like, you know what? I needed to slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? But it's just I got a lot of stuff that I'm juggling right now to get done. I'm still trying to set up the I guess the live podcast for August. I want to go toward the end of August well, we put the panel of people together. I'm trying to set that up. I got a couple projects I'm trying to do and do some different things personal training wise. So it's a couple things going on. Give me 1 second. Yeah. I didn't know y'all started.
But I should before it started. So remind me of the idea at the end.
Huh?
I said I got, but I should this before we start. Remind me of the idea, at the
I
end.
can't hear you going in.
We gotta remind her in the post production. She got an idea we gonna talk about in post production.
Okay. Remind you that. So then, and then, I watched a couple things. Like I watched the Kevin Hart. I watched the Kevin Hart Red Table Talk, and I also watched his Fatherhood movie. Did you watch Fatherhood, Nicole?
I didn't watch it all. I did start, but I didn't see the whole thing.
I actually liked it for what Kevin Hart did in it.
I need to finish watching it.
I don't know where y'all want to like hit around at first, because a lot of things trying to happen this week too. You had Bill Cosby getting released. I don't know if I really want to talk about that because I know Nicole's opinion of the situation. So I don't know why you got the Grinch look going.
Did we discuss? We didn't discuss this in the group.
We did not. We did not.
I know Nicole wanted to touch on this. I know she threw it out there. I stayed away from it because I didn't want to.
I just wanted to know how y'all feel. I'm not going to be how could you?
How we feel about what Bill Cosby being released?
Yeah.
I feel it was justifiable.
I feel
the
like
reason that he was released.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. What happened?
Yeah.
Right. Basically, I don't know. I don't know if he was guilty. I don't know if he's truly innocent. Whatever. But the way that they locked him up was unjust. And when it happened with other people, it's a fucking parade in the street for him. So
He was
to
victim.
me, I can't say he was. I can't say he wasn't because of the way that they went about it.
That's how they got him. He admitted in his 66-page deposition. That's why they wasn't supposed to use it against him. And what he said in the deposition was so horrible that they fuck that. We using this against you. And
Nope.
that is what they deal with him.
It's not the fact that they said it was so horrible.
I mean, that's my word.
Because it was two different prosecutors at what happened.
Yeah, that's my word.
Yeah, because the first prosecutor said, "Hey, if you help us out with the civil case, and we won't pursue criminal charges against you. So you go through the civil case, you cannot plead the fifth. You got to tell us everything. You can't not talk to not incriminate yourself. But once you do that, whatever happens in the civil case and whatever you got to pay, you got to do that. We won't pursue any criminal charges against you." And then once he said yes, signed off on that, they got out to take care. That prosecutor left. Another prosecutor came in, picked up the case, and said, "Oh no, I'm gonna try you on all this shit. fuck what he said he was gonna do. That I don't care about."
But he admitted it. That's why he was able to use what he said against him, because he said what he did, and people want to look over that. He said what he did, and even how Felicia Rashad, y'all saw how she was basically finally.
I didn't see what she said. I saw
finally a wrong has been righted. It was unjust, just whatever. But the first and fifth.
That's why I read with Janet Hubert. I read what she said.
And she just putting it out there. She said this has been a Hollywood known secret of him doing this for years. It's been a Hollywood secret. You had to know. So it's like even Hannibal Buress, how it got out. He making a joke about nothing being to him.
What's going on with your mic, Nicole?
I don't know. I think it's Jay. It's still.
And you're the only one doing it.
I know.
It ain't Jay. It ain't even a $9 no more. We can't even talk about that no more.
But I just feel like I'll say this again. I feel like he's been doing it for years. Hollywood knew about it. They were protecting him. I don't know if it's because he wanted to buy NBC or whatever it was that they were like, okay, we done with you. They took that covering off. Because how can somebody, maybe other people knew Hannibal Buress. I didn't even know who he was. So Bill Cosby had been talking about Quaaludes and all of that stuff himself in his stand up. Now here comes some not even famous comedian mention it. Now y'all want to investigate it. I feel like it was all set up to bring it out, to take him down. So that's my whole thing about these celebrities. Stop doing stuff that they can hold over your head when they get tired of you or when they want to stop you from doing something. Stop doing stuff that they can hold against you or take you out with, you
I
know?
think the only pushback against that, well, I mean, what you're saying is 100% right. That is 100% correct, and I'm behind that. But the only pushback with that is sometimes they don't play fair. They'll go back to a time when I don't want to say that it was right, but if we go back and listen to 90s rap, like some words in rap that they were saying back then was okay, as opposed to what's acceptable now. So
Mm-hmm.
they dig deep in your history to find some shit you did or said and
Yeah.
bring it up now when it's not acceptable. And then new age people, fans, people with a different mindset than they had in the 90s, that's where they start. That's where the whole cancel culture comes into play again.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I do agree. Like you should always, especially when you're a public figure, you should always carry yourself in a distinguished manner. You look at people like, now I hate to throw names out there because somebody will try to find some on it, but like LeBron James, for example, is a person who's been in the public eye for a while and really no controversy. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry. It's more than athletes. It's other black public figures that don't have too much on them because you don't really see much of their personal lives. And I think that's also another thing. We got
Okay,
our personal lives on display all the time.
so I don't. I want to change gears real quick just because of what you just said. It made me think of something with what's the girl name? The Olympic girl,
Chicago.
Shakari
Shikari.
Richardson. Is it Richardson?
Yeah.
Shikari Richardson. Everybody, if you don't know, everybody. I was gonna say everybody if you don't know, but everybody knows, right? If you don't know, you know what I'm saying, she's not allowed. Well, she's suspended for a month for testing positive for weed. I was in the barbershop today talking to them, and one of the thoughts was the reason that she's in this predicament is because we as black people, when we get to a certain level, we don't have the right covering in front of us, like the right PR person or like the right fixer. You know, like what's the girl from Scandal, Olivia Pope?
Olivia Pope.
Yeah, we don't have an Olivia Pope around us, and like, oh, it was like we shun that into the fact where we need it. Like when we don't need it, when we first get there, we the type, no, I don't need that. I'm gonna have my brother be my PR person or my cousin. I'm gonna put them on, and then as soon as we get in trouble, and it's kind of too late to fix it. Now we looking for that PR person. What y'all think about that?
I
I
don't
mean,
think PR. I'm sorry. Go
oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead. No, I was gonna say my thing is just like I feel like she knew. Of course she knew the rules. She knew that she shouldn't be smoking weed for that, regardless of what she was doing. Most people when they smoke weed and they on probation and they know they gotta do drops or they trying to get a job, they take steps to do things before they go get tested, right? Because they know they ain't supposed to be smoking. I just don't understand. I mean, she knew
I
she had been smoking. Why she ain't go drink that stuff for $25
think
right
in this
quick?
sense, a lot of people use the. I think a lot of people are misinterpreting the law of it being legal and not understanding that it's been legalized but it's not legal. So like you still can't smoke it everywhere. Like you can be in one place and it's like when she was smoking it when she was in Oregon where it's legal to smoke weed or it's illegal to use cannabis because we don't know if she's smoking it, ate an edible or whatever. So it's legal to use cannabis in the state that she was in, but it's illegal for the Olympics according to their rules. It's one of their banned substances in there. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but she also was probably thinking that she wasn't gonna get tested for it. And you know, everybody's bringing up Michael Phelps that he didn't get in trouble for when he was using weed throughout the Olympics, things of that nature. But I'm pretty sure it's one of them. They're not gonna test me. I ain't gonna go in there smelling like weed and that. I'm gonna smoke weed 2 or 3 days before this. Just you know what I'm
But
saying.
she had got but I thought that they had tested her around the time she did the first one or something, and they let her do it or something. I was reading, they were saying she had tested it. She didn't just test positive. This is like a test she had tested previously, and
Yeah.
they were saying something about they was going to look at the date or something. So it was saying she possibly could make it if they go back to the time she tested positive.
No, no. What it is she tested positive right before she broke
Right
the
before
record.
she won, right? Yeah.
Right before she broke the record, she tested positive. They still let her run because I think they tested right before that or whatever. So when it came back, now they found out that she did smoke weed or she had cannabis in her system. So what they did for her suspension was they basically prorated it, you know what I'm saying, or retrograded it to the date right before that. So in 30 days from there, that's why they're saying that she might be allowed to run in the relay in the 4x100 because
Oh,
the
okay.
suspension will be over at the end of July. The 4x100 is like August 4th or something like that. She can't run her race because her race is going on. The trials for her race are happening during her suspension. I mean, if you look deeper into it, it kind of sounds like it kind of sounds like is they don't want her to run this race. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how the suspension is because like even like okay, our producer just put up where it says Michael. He says Phelps he was suspended for 3 months, but not for testing, but because of a picture that popped. Well, okay, that's not. He was suspended for 3 months, but he was suspended after the Olympics. Paris, what's going on, baby?
Going
Hey,
on,
Paris.
Paris?
He was suspended. The Olympics were over. He got suspended in like February, so his suspension had nothing to do with his ability to
Eligibility.
perform
Yeah.
in the Olympics. The picture did come out while the Olympics was going on, but his suspension. Now, what did kind of happen to him that not having heard, he lost some sponsorships behind that. But by that time, he had already had his gold medals and things.
And that's actually why I wanted to get back to your original point about PR. I think in this situation, PR isn't the problem because PR wouldn't have changed anything. PR probably would have hurt it. Her, she didn't lose any sponsorship. Nike came out today and said they were standing with her, considering everything that she been had been going on. And then we look at all these other all these other black athletes that are like excelling in the Olympics, like the one I forget her name. Please, producer, if you can't find it, the young lady with the shot put, the black
I
lady with
mean,
the
wait,
shot
wait, they killing it. They got the shot
put.
put.
I mean, like, so I feel like in this age, like being who we are, that's wrong. I don't know if that's our nickname, but I feel like in it right now, it's okay to be who you are. And like actually her being who she is actually what I would say, aside from her talent, it also attributes to her fame because they on the news, if you notice, and they kind of do it to downplay her, but they always refer to her as the girl with the orange hair or the girl
Or
with
the
the
long
long
nails.
nails. You know what I mean? Like, but that's her being her unapologetically, and her being her unapologetically also it's her smoking weed or
But
ingesting weed.
I,
However the
I,
case
I
may be.
also
I don't
believe that
think.
she had a good PR, whatever you want to say, because the thing is, say like if she was, and I'm not trying to say that we're supposed to be scammers and everything and stuff. Come on, but if you got a good person in front of you who is your media person, this is taken care of easy when they come out. Just a quick call to some doctor to get a note to say she needed this because for mental conditions she couldn't take any other medicine or antidepressants because it's probably on the banned substance and weed was the. This is easy to spin where it
I
wouldn't
don't look
cost
at
you
that
nothing.
as PR though, because in my mind, when you look, PR is public relations. She ain't lost no
Well,
fans.
no,
She ain't
I
lost
just meant,
none
I
of that.
just meant, I just meant a couple. When I said PR, I mean misspoke. I just meant somebody to kind of like navigate through a lot.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But I don't. But see, the thing about that is, I think that what also with her is everything happened. I don't. I don't really know her story, but it seems like it's happening very fast. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? So she may not even have had an opportunity to even think about. Okay, I'm a. It probably ain't really set in to her that she's a star now. You know what I mean?
I feel like I don't care if it's a part of her smoking weed. People that go to jail and they on probation for not even drugs, but part of their probation is no weed, no drugs. Okay. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. This could change the whole trajectory of her life, her family. This is not her applying at a Walmart and fail the drug test and she can just say, okay, in a month I'm gonna go and apply at Target. This ain't that. This is a whole total different situation. You know it's banned. Like I was saying before, I don't care if it's legal. If they say you can't do this to participate, if they say don't eat chocolate before the show because you can't eat chocolate, don't eat no damn chocolate.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm gonna say like I don't understand why everybody is up in an uproar because it's in the rules. It's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it,
Right.
but it's the rules. You know
But I
what I
think
mean?
the uproar is because it seems like it's an attack on blacks or black women or African women because of other things that are happening also.
And so now this is where I'm gonna have to get off my high horse and kind of join Nicole on what she was saying. I think it was last week or a couple weeks back when we got to find something else to be outraged about because this I don't believe that this is specific to her because she's black. I
No,
don't.
okay, but this is I mean it's a culmination of events. You know what I'm saying? It could be like you know what I'm saying, just some unlucky circumstances, but you know how it came out because you got she's basically everybody is already gave her the gold medal for that. They figured if she stepped in there for that 100 meters, there was no way anybody was gonna come in close to beating her. Now she's not allowed to run, and then they come out with the
Except for that
rule,
Jamaican person, everybody talking about she ain't trying to face.
and then they come out with the rule that you know what I'm saying the black woman with natural hair can't wear swim caps in swimming. You know
No, they didn't say they couldn't wear swim caps. So this is what it was. Some guys who designed it, they said based off them noticing black women, or not black women, just women with
With Afro hair is what it said.
thick hair, afro hair, was struggling to use the caps. So they created one that was big enough, and they submitted it to be approved, and they didn't approve the cap, stating that they've never had anybody who needed a cap of that size. It's too big. We haven't had an issue in the past. Nobody even needs that. That's not basically standard or whatever. So of course they're like, so now white women head size is the standard. But I don't think they were trying to say that white women, they was just saying you coming out with this big old cap, you submitted it, we saying no, we don't need it, because to their knowledge they haven't seen anyone having an issue with the standard caps that they've been using for years.
I can go with that.
So
I can
that's why the cap was denied.
Mm, I don't know. I think just specifically back to Shikari, though, I think it's unfortunate. I really do. But I don't think, kind of to push back on what you were saying earlier, Nicole, I don't think that while this is an opportunity of a lifetime, I don't think that this will derail her career. I do believe that as long as she continues to train and produce at a high level, I think she'll still be on the the trajectory of her career is trending up.
Yeah. I mean, she'll just miss the 100 at the Olympics. She'll go, what's that, the
I
50
really
or
wish
100?
I really wish they would just let her run though. I just want to see her run. Especially now, because who is this Jamaican that a lot of people talking about she can't beat?
I'm not sure. I really don't follow track and field in the Olympics. I really don't follow anything in the Olympics other than basketball. But her story was just something that we all could get behind. You know what I mean? So to look
And
at
now
it.
you got to say what, Paris?
That we don't want this. The cap.
See, Paris is natural hair. You know what I'm saying? She all about naturals, natural women and everything. So she going to probably boycott the because you can't get
I
it.
don't see why they would deny it. I mean, if they feel like nobody's gonna wear it, or is it because they would have to buy them? Is that what it is? Like, say if they say we submit this to the Olympics and the Olympics accept it, do they have to like?
No, the Olympic Committee doesn't buy it. What usually happens is if you got something like the sponsors would buy it, or your team is responsible for getting your own equipment. And the thing is, it's just like this is what we these are the requirements that the equipment has to follow up. This is what we say. This is the list of things that we say you can use, and you just go out and get them. So if you got sponsors, the sponsors go and wherever you want to get it from,
Okay, so
as
I
long
was
as it
just
falls in,
wondering what would be the harm in them saying, okay, yeah, it's allowed,
because they don't want to have nothing
and
specific to
nobody
black
use
people.
it. What if nobody use it then? Then you can say next year, nope, because nobody used it last year.
You gotta turn your volume down or something.
I don't know what.
Cause when
Now
you
I
get
turn my
hyped,
volume down. It's the
when you
same,
get
right?
hyped, you start to you double up. When you talking nice and calm, you don't get no double. As soon as you get a little amp, we get two voices from
Okay, so I talk like this.
you.
It's still a.
Yeah, it's like another mic somewhere there. For them to say no one needs them. Oh, Paris think it's discrimination. That's what we were trying to allude to earlier, Paris. But you know what? Now that I hear it at first, because this is the thing. When I first heard about it, I didn't hear it in the way that you explained it because I didn't read that story. People were telling me about it, and when they tell you about it, it just said that they were basically saying that the black girls can't wear the swim cap. When you hear about it at that point like that, it's one of those whereas we just say no to it basically like nah, we don't need it, we don't want it, we don't want to change to it. Now I think the thing
Oh,
seemed like it came too late. You saying what is it? Richardson ran 2.72 in April to become the sixth fastest woman in history. In Tokyo, a showdown race with Jamaica's Shelly
Oh, Jamaica.
and
Whoa.
Fraser's Price ran the fastest time. What does that got to do with our girl though?
He was telling you who the Jamaican girl was. That's
so
who
maybe they was
But
just saying her name is Jamaica, not so much she's
no,
Jamaican.
Jamaica's her name is Shelly Ann Fraser.
Oh,
Shelly,
Jamaica's
yeah,
Shelly Ann Fraser. Oh, okay, and
yeah.
Elaine Thompson, who and Fraser and Price, they both ran the same time.
I
No,
think that's her
Fraser
whole name.
Price. Okay, that's one
Yeah, I think that's
person.
her whole name.
Oh, so the girl from Jamaican, her time is better than
I
Richardson
don't.
right
I
now.
now okay. Now
right.
this is the thing with me getting a little bit off topic. I don't believe it's the same thing, Paris. I don't believe them saying that dreads are unprofessional is the same thing as them saying that they don't think anybody needs this new swim cap that you're bringing in. I think the thing about the swim cap is if it was probably brought to production maybe last year or the year before or something like that, and we could have tested it or went to the market to see if somebody needed it or if there's something we needed to bring in. This is my thing is like I say, this is new news to me. If it's just coming up 2 months before we go into the Olympics, then I think it was just brought at the wrong time.
I will not go as far to say that I don't believe that they're related. I do believe that there is some correlation between the unprofessional locks at work. I won't call them dreads. Locks at work and
Almost like them
the
saying
cap.
get rid of your hair.
Right. Basically, that's basically what they saying. Like, if your hair's too big for our cap, do something else to it.
Or braid it down. What have they been doing?
But see, to me though, to me it's like, okay, you will make concessions for other groups, but we won't make concessions for our group.
But when have they made concessions for other groups? They
The
just these are
concession, but see, the problem is we so clouded. The concession is what we consider the standard because we can go back to what you initially said that okay, the standard head is the European head. You know what I mean?
well, I'll say this. People or women, this natural thing is kind of new. So now everybody wants to be natural. So before it was the standard when women were relaxing their hair and doing their hair the way they wanted and all of that stuff. It wasn't because they were trying to follow a standard to look like them because we want to wear our hair straight. So now
But
that we want to wear
that
our hair,
contributes to it though, because that standard is of the European nature. You know what I mean?
yeah, but women don't look at it like, oh, it's a standard. I have to look like them. We just like what we like. We like what's
No, no, no. I
natural.
mean, as far as the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? As far as the head size for
Right.
the
And what my point is, even if that's the standard before, we were wearing our hair not as big. So that's why they feel like it's never been a problem. So now that we want to wear our hair big and stuff, it doesn't fit, right? So that was my question. They probably feel the same way. What have you been doing before? Because
well,
if
I
you
think
think
that
about it, if a black woman with an afro, and I'm just gonna say me, if I'm going swimming, period, if I'm going swimming, 9 times out of 10, we're gonna do our hair in a way that it won't mess up. We put our hair in braids. You know what I'm saying? Why
think
can't
though,
they braid it and
but
put
see,
the
I
cap
think
on?
that the issue with that is that you taking away my right to make that choice.
I
If I
understand.
want to wear my hair in an afro, why should that be an issue? Why does it matter how I wear my hair? You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if my coach saying no, that's gonna slow you down in the water. You need to
They
break.
still gonna have to braid that hair down with that big ass cap. Cause this
Whatever
cap ain't
it
finna
is.
be as big as it ain't like no bonnet. You know what
But
I'm
either way,
saying?
though, my mindset is if my mindset is if you want to wear it that way, like you have that right. You know what I mean? And them saying, well, you've been straightening your hair all these years. Why you want to not go against the grain now? To me, that's the
No,
equivalent of
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to look at it from their side. The reason why they would say we ain't been needing it. And their eyes, they're not looking at it like they don't care nothing about how you wear your hair. They don't care. They just looking at it from this standpoint. You ain't y'all ain't new to the Olympics. Y'all ain't new to swimming. Y'all been doing it every year. So what have you been doing before? They not as white people. I think they would have to be more
You got long
educated.
locks. You better not be swimming, or you're just gonna get them locks wet.
I think they would have to be more educated to understand the need for it.
But see, I think the problem is, and I think we both going off on a tirade right now. We probably need to switch gears. But I think the problem with that is saying that we have to accept what they're giving us. You know what I mean? Because if we keep saying it's okay for us to, I guess, make the make the compromise to go to what you believe we should be doing, as opposed to you saying, okay, this is what other people that are, this is what other ethnicities in the Olympics are accustomed to, or this is what their natural hair is. Like we should be able, they should be making that concession, not us.
That's not what I'm saying. I agree, but I'm just trying to get an understanding of their point of view. Not so much of them trying to say, cut your hair off or relax it again. I just feel like they don't understand the need for it because there hasn't been a need for it.
I think, well, I agree with that, and but I think it's also on us to make them understand, and making them understand is continuing to push these things through. You know what I'm saying? To fight for
Hmm.
the big ass cap, even if it's only gonna be 40 out of the 2,500 people wearing them. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
digress. We kind of ran off. I'm sorry. The veil looked like he like, all right, now let's switch gears.
I mean, yeah, I was off of that.
She said natural hair is not new. I didn't mean new as in, but you have to admit that natural hair is starting to be more of the trend in the last couple of years. Before we were getting beat down for relaxing our hair, creamy crack, because women were relaxing their hair. I worked in a beauty shop. I worked in a beauty shop where all they did was he did natural hair, and it was about, but their hair was still blow dried. They weren't walking out of there with no hair, no afros. They were still straightening it at some point, even if they're getting silk press and it's natural. But they were not wearing big afros and locks. This has been happening in the last few years.
It says this is relevant to this conversation. This, as in what?
I can say though that the it's weird because the fascination with our hair from other groups is through the roof. Like today, I was on a call and I had my hair tied up like this, and everybody's like, "How do you get your hair like that?" You know what I mean? Like stupid,
You
like
say,
you know what
you
I'm
say a rubber band?
saying? Like, right. But the fashion, but I had it braided a week or so ago,
I
and
was
it's
talking about
like
the swim cap. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. Okay,
Huh? What she
I,
say?
the swim caps is
Oh.
basically relevant to the conversation of. I understand it. Okay,
so okay, we'll switch gears though.
I wanted to talk about child rearing a little bit again, and maybe a little bit of, and that's only because really I was watching. I got two instances really. I watched, like I told you earlier, I watched the Kevin Hart movie Fatherhood. I also watched him on Red Table Talk, and him and Will were talking about the dynamics of raising their daughters, and something like that, and that made me want to talk about raising daughters because both me and Jay and you, Nicole, we do have daughters, and there's a different way of raising that, but then also I just want
I
to talk
should
about
have beat my kids' ass more. I'll say that.
this is the thing. In all honesty, I'm right there right now, and I wanted to talk about that. What people would think because of the fact, like you know, me and Paul here together, and his sons here, my nephews are in the house, 13 and 11, and right now I'm like that close to knocking every tooth out of their mouths. You know what I'm saying? I'm so close to it, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, you know, I gotta kind of help them to realize that every situation doesn't need a violent
Right.
solution to it. But then I'm like, but they boys, they need some get right. You know what I'm saying? Because conversation with boys, you know, it's, you know, we don't get it all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I think though, and I think we can all of us have girls too. We can all attest to this. And honestly, this is actually perfect because we got them at every stage. I got the young ones, you got a teenager, you got adults. So it's like we can actually speak to each phase because we're all dealing with them right now. But I think it's I can't speak to boys because I don't have boys, but I do have a younger brother, and when he was younger, I do know what you mean. Telling a boy something is almost like one end out the other. But raising my 6 year old, like some of that shit is it's like it's I don't know if that's maybe like a family thing. Is it like hereditary? Because some of that shit go in one ear and out the other too. Like I literally just had to get on her about her room. It's like I tell her every day, you gotta clean up your room. I need your room to look a certain way. I even took a picture of I cleaned it up, took a picture of it, showed her how I want it. So it's like I need your room to look like this. And it's like yeah, whatever, dude. I'm gonna clean it, half clean it how I want to. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it's more stuff than just that. But like, I think when you're dealing with kids, specifically at this age, it's one in out the other.
my thing is not so much the one ear and out the other. And you know what I'm saying? With the younger kids, I'm cool with that. But like with my nephews, I'm talking about they're 13 and 11, and they're big boys. You know what I'm saying? Like both of them taller than me. One of them is almost my weight. It's a 13-year-old. He's almost my weight. My thing is, I'm always trying to prepare, especially young men, even when they're not like I'm at the park talking all the time with kids. I'm always trying to prepare them for how you have to deal with yourself or how you have to handle yourself on the street. And my thing is their lack of focus about things and the whimsical way that they just go about life. Like he did something today and it was so minor. It was so minor, but it was like scratching the chalkboard to me. You know what I'm saying? There's one thing like, you know, you get a pack of cookies. How do you open the cookies now?
You gotta slap. You gotta take the little thing
You
back.
pull the little things to open here, right? You
Yeah.
bust it open from the end. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, my issue with it is, it's not like he busted open on the end because he was just like, oh, I don't want to pull it. It was like not knowing, oh, I can open it this way. It was one of them not paying attention to it. Then when I bring it, he's like, oh, yeah, I noticed that afterwards. I'm like, nah, bro, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be more focused on what's going on. But as a parent, you know what I'm saying, or as an adult around,
Tasha is wild, boy.
as an adult around, you know, you want to beat the focus into them. You know what I'm saying? Because like as a, you know, we coming up, you was taught, you know what I'm saying? They do something wrong, you beat their ass, they gonna like. But you like, I understand you can't like force focus into them, but at one point you like, okay, I need to do something. I got to help out some way because the fear is for them to be away from you or outside in the street, and that lack of focus or not paying attention gets them into a situation where you're not there to help them get out of.
I think with me it's more so with my daughter specifically is more so not so much as I guess the not paying attention because my daughter, I think she's at specifically being around me, my wife, and also kind of being around you. Like attention to detail is not something that she lacks. You know what I mean? So I don't. My problem is being naive because one, COVID happened. She ain't really had experience with other kids. So majority of the people that she's been around has just been friendly. You know what I'm saying? Just been family. So she don't understand that there are people out there with bad intentions. And I think that's my biggest thing is try to you don't want to tell a kid
Teach her
not to
boundaries.
right. And you don't want to teach a kid to not trust because that'll build a complex as they get older. But you also want to have them to be as aware as possible. You know what I mean? And it's a balance, specifically when they're this young, because it's almost like she got this kid who she thought was her friend. And obviously when kids are kids, everybody they meet is their friend.
Everybody that meets their best friend.
So when they play, you know what I'm saying, she come home and she say, "Oh, my friend did XYZ to me." I'm like, "Oh, your friend wouldn't do that to you." You know what I mean? In her mind, it's not that big a deal to her. And obviously, as an adult, when you have life experiences, you're like, "Nah, that's a trend. This
You want to
motherfucker."
go whoop the
She'll
girl.
get over that.
You
Tristan
trying to
used
go
to
Right.
do
jump on
that.
the girl.
She'll get
Not
over that.
necessarily jump on her, but I want to try to teach her to be able to pick up on those red flags. You know what I
She'll
mean?
get over that. Tristan used to do that. Like it was like leg son Justice. You know, they're a year apart. Justice is a year younger than Tristan. And he had big ass hands, heavy hands. And I would tell Tristan his ass back. I can't. That's my friend. I'm like, boy. But he grew out of that, but when he was little, it was like, no, that's my friend.
I never had. I think with my daughters, of course, every father you're worried about them being naive, and not that's not saying that they are naive. It's just as a guy, you just worry about somebody taking advantage of your daughter. Not so much your son. You like, man, if you let somebody take advantage of you, you know what I'm saying?
You deserve it.
With your daughters, it's more so you want to try to stave that off. I think I was blessed in the fact, like yeah, but you used to fight everybody because you got your daddy in you. So like, my two daughters are like, well, my daughters are kind of they night and day, but they the same. So like my older daughter, she has some of me in it, but she's more like her mom. My middle daughter, she's me all day. You know what I'm saying? And she be on dummy, like ready to go. But that also created I don't want to say a match, but we're head to head because of the fact she was so much like me, and because of the fact we have like different family cultures. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of discrepancy about certain things growing up and how she should grow up. Because, like, as fathers, you don't want your daughters in certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, don't put that on, don't put this on. Some mothers think certain things are cute. It's like, that ain't cute. As a father, you're like, that ain't cute. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. Guys are predatory. Take it from me. They're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it a certain way. So we had, those fights and things of that nature. But I think my daughters actually listen more. Well, I can't say listen to more than my sons. My daughters did listen to me though about certain things. Like boys, they never listen to their dad about boys. And that's the scariest thing in the world. Like my oldest daughter doesn't even talk to me about boys. She'll try to have me believe that she's not interested in no boy ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. My daughter, she talks to me entirely too much about boys. Not like anything that what I'm saying. She don't go too in depth, but she'll bring up a boy in a heartbeat, and it's like, oh my god. So
I
going,
don't have those issues like that. My issues with my kid, Tristan gonna leave out the room. He need to be listening. They're habitual line steppers.
but that because you ain't beat their ass.
Right. That's why I said I should have beat their ass more growing up. Because some of the stuff they do, I be thinking, I'd have never said that to my mama. You know, it's to the point where I had a bad dream last night. I had a dream that, because Tristan followed me here in his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream that we're at the gas station. He's in his car, I'm in my car. So after we get the gas, he has a habit of sitting there trying to get his music right before he pull off. So he's sitting there doing whatever. I see somebody setting the gas station on fire. So I'm like all the way over, getting ready to leave out the entrance. He's still sitting at the pump. So now I'm calling him like, don't go forward, bag up, and let's get up out of here. Now, this is a dream. He's sitting there arguing me, but why? Tell me why. What's going and not moving? And I'm like, so, but that's the type of stuff he would do in real life. Instead of me just saying, oh, okay, let me hit it and find out later. He will sit there and but ma, but, and it's like, oh, both of them. It's like they like to challenge me.
I ain't never had that problem. I
Y'all
can
like to challenge everything I say. You see what he just
He
did?
challenging right now.
I guess because he 18 now. He grown now. He opened the door, really. I wish I would open the door and tell my daddy, really.
um, I do believe that the dynamic between parents and children now is changed to where the fact is children do believe they need an explanation for things that their parents tell them to do. I was blessed that I didn't have that because I would be locked up. You know what I'm saying? Because how I raised my kids kind of like I was raised. You know what I'm saying? It was the fact you do what I tell you to do. All the rest of that, you're saying yes, we can have fun, we can go back and forth, we can play and joke. But at one point, when I say this is what it is, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think I've ever had my kids like question. Well, I did one time. I was wrong, so I had to eat it. But other than that, they don't really question. If I tell them to do something like, all right, Pop said do X, Y, Z. Yeah, and then, but I also try to teach them, like, look, if I tell you to do something, do it. And if it's wrong, you can always say, hey, you told me to do it. You know what I'm saying? And we leave it at that.
This Terrence. I don't know if you remember Audrey, Mel. Audrey was the first person in the group with me and Riri. The very first person in Twi.
Oh, yeah.
That's her husband.
What up, man? How you
I
feeling?
mean, ex-husband. Oh, sorry.
Okay. You didn't have to do that to him.
Because he got a new wife. He got another wife. So I don't want to be starting no shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny. I was actually having the same conversation with my wife last night, actually. My daughter's 6. When my daughter was coming up, my wife wanted her to have an understanding of why she would tell her no. Ex-husband.
All the exclamation points. I got it right.
You got it right, bro. You got it right.
She wanted her to have an understanding of why she would tell her no, so she would allow her to ask her why, so she would know not to do it again. And I used to tell her back then that that's a bad idea because now she's 6 and everything she either is trying to explain to you why she did something when it's like I don't give a shit, just stop. Or when you tell her to do something, she's trying to explain to you why she want to keep doing what she doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I told my wife, like, no, that was a bad idea then. And now it's almost to a point where it's like, okay, we kind of got to deprogram her from that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and it's not like it's our fault. So it's like, it's not like we could just like whoop her ass to get her out of it because we empowered that at one point. So it's almost like we got to kind of I don't want to say retrain like shit puppy, but we got to fix that thought process to be like, okay, no, do what I say when I fucking say
it. Yeah, you got to rewire it now.
Right.
Like I said, that's one thing I never had an issue with ever. Like when I tell my kids, like I said, the only issue I had is, and it wasn't an issue. Remember how like when Autumn gets her hair combed, like if y'all was coming her hair, she would just, Nicole, I don't know if you remember, you were doing my daughter's hair. I don't know if she want me to tell her name on here, but you were doing her hair.
Yeah, my daughter's name, nigga.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, you were doing Desi's hair. I was standing in in Robbins. You were sitting there doing the hair. She was having a fit. She was bawling, crying. And I was like, hey, stop crying. It ain't hurting that bad. And she kept crying. And I got close to her. And I'm like, why is you acting a fool? It ain't even hurting that bad. Why is you acting a fool? And in the middle, she stopped and looked me in the face and said, how do you know? And she's 4 years old. And when she said, I was like, I don't know, really. You know what I'm I'm shut up. I'm going over here. Get out the way. I don't know. Terrence. Oh, his name is backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Terrence
Yeah, my kids are older. You know, Egypt would be 16 at the end of this month. Tristan 18, you know. I mean, she's doing better because I predicted when she was 13 that by the time she's 16, I was going to been and I would have been and whooped her ass. Like, fist fight. I was like, I foresee me beating Egypt's ass by the time she's 16. But I haven't.
And see, my thing was, I know how smart my mouth is.
I was gonna get to that.
I know how smart my mouth is. So my kids get it hereditary. You know what I'm saying? They do. So a lot of times, a lot of stuff I'll shrug off because you can tell when it's disrespectful or when they just being, you know what I'm saying, they being me. So as long as it's not like, and if when like I'm that type, when it gets close to the line, it's like, hey, remember who you're talking to. And then that'll be it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm at the line. I see where it is. We good. We're gonna go somewhere else. but we go back and forth. We almost live in that. I'm almost in that age where, you know, like Damon Wayans had said in one of his comedy specials, I'm saying, if it's funny, you can get away with it in the crib. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, I'm kind of like that. It's like, if it's funny enough, I might eat that one up. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? But I also have to realize, like with my daughter Eva, I have to tell her a lot of the times, and she's learned this now, but she was real good for trying to go back and forth. And I would always have to tell her, hey, your daddy ain't got good sense. I might not be the one you want to talk stupid to. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever I say back is going to really hurt your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what you say to me, my feelings ain't going to get hurt. I'm going to take that and say something back. And then it's like, yeah, whatever. And then after a while, she's like, nah, dude, you just go too far. You know so, she don't even do that no more with me. It's like, if she started, I'll be like, we doing? She's like, nope, my bad. Let's do something else. I ain't even going. So my daughters is cool. I do have a healthy fear of my youngest son having to be on his own. So they watch us, they mimic us. It's hard to not expect them to do the shit we do, but when they do the shit we do, we want to discipline.
I think that it's a thin line because honestly, like these kids, we molded them to be us in a certain to a certain extent. So you're gonna see your personality. Like I look at my oldest daughter and I see portions of me and her, and I see portions of my wife and her. And sometimes it comes out way like you said, like okay, if it's funny, like I'll let it rock. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it come out where it's like okay, you know what? That's enough. Like you need to chill out. So it's like it's a thin line. You got to kind of
I'm the
walk
type
that line.
I'm the type of I'm not really trying to discipline them for mimicking me or doing things I do. My thing is, as long as you are respectful enough to do the things I tell you to do, everything else we can work out. You know what I'm saying? If I come in the house and you do something that I know I would have did or something, or you make a mistake, I'm not really that type who go off on mistakes and stuff like that. Like, as long as the things that you have been told to do or the things that you know you're supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, that goes a long way with me. Oh, I hate to keep bringing it. I don't want to throw my daughter under the bus, but her and her mom would bump heads all the time. And when her mom called me about it, I'm like, I don't have that problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when she with me,
Like that. She could cuss you out. She don't cuss me out.
it ain't the fact of that. Don't get me wrong. I don't allow her to disrespect her mom. Even at the times when me and
Okay.
her mom were at odds, where it's like I couldn't stand to see her walking. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's the fact of I used to try to stress to her, you as her mother need to set boundaries on how you guys interact. You can't be her best friend for 18 hours of the day, and then now for these 2 hours in the middle of the day, you want to switch to mom. And because now she has to discern, okay, when is she being my friend and when is she being my mom? You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to set those boundaries. And so then when she says certain things, you want to call me and say, you need to talk to your daughter. No, I don't. She cool when she talks to me. I have none of those issues when I talk to them. So my thing is, as long as, and I don't want to say like they slaves, but most of the time I feel with my kids, as long as you're doing what I tell you, I'm fine. We can work everything else out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Egypt and the kids, like Egypt, Tristan, Look, Eric, Shy, they all have a different relationship with Egypt's dad, right? Because he grew up like we grew up, how we talked about each other. So he do that with them, and his reasoning was, I don't want y'all to ever come home talking about somebody was talking about me. You need to be able to come right back, right?
Right.
But that's how he talked to them. So even with me staying over there for that week and a half, some of the stuff I saw Egypt say to him, look, Eric say to him. I'm like, all right, that's cool with you. I don't play like that. you know.
I want to say, okay, Nicole said we want them to be strong-willed, but we don't appreciate it when they exercise will with us. You are absolutely correct, because I do want my kids to be strong-willed, but I want them to be able to understand that that's a switch. The strong will is when you deal with everybody else. When you talk to me, I'm your parent. You have no will. It's where it's my will. I'm taking care of you. I'm providing shelter. I'm doing everything. This is the will. You know what I'm saying? I'm imbuing that into you when you go out into the world. Take that strong will out there. Be a person. When you walk in the door, hang it on the coat rack. Do what the hell you told in this house.
I think I differ a little bit, and this is actually why we have the struggle that we got with my daughter now. But I feel like I do appreciate it if it's done respectfully. You can respectfully disagree with me. I don't have a problem with that. I know I'm not always right, but there are certain things where I say what I say goes. There are certain things where
Parents are mean, daddy.
there are certain aspects of life. There are certain things though that you could be wrong when you're talking to your kid. And to me, I feel like you'll be stifling your child by telling them not to speak out when they feel there's an injustice. Even if you know what I'm saying, like I said, I understand when you say there's a switch. There are certain things where it's like bite your tongue right now. But for the most part, if we have a conversation and you feel like something I'm saying is wrong, I don't have a problem with if we can respectfully talk it out. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, here's my thing. And this is the double standard or bias, however you want to say it. I don't have a problem with that when it's daddy. You know what I'm saying? I tell all kids, my kids in the street or whatever, you're not supposed to argue with your mama. When mama wrong, mama right. If she say something that you don't agree with or whatever it is, take your ass in your room, scream in your pillow, do whatever you want to do with that there, but we don't go back and forth with mom.
You hear that?
Daddy, as long as we can talk about it, like me, I'm fine with my kids going back and forth. We can talk. That's just how I feel, me personally. But that's also because I understand that I'm able to talk to you, because what we glaze over a lot of times is inherently father gets more respect from the kids than the mother does. When daddy say something, most of the time they snap to attention. Let me go do this here. And that's whether he in the house with them or he ain't in the house with them. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not to say that sometimes when he turns his back, they don't go do what they want to do or whatever. But for the most part, is daddy get respect. Daddy say, sit your tail down, you sit down. Mama got to threaten you with the broom, the pot, tell you she gonna tell your daddy and everything else for her to get somewhere with it. So, in my opinion, and I tell, like I said, I'm with 100 different kids every year out at the park and stuff. My speech to everybody is, we don't go back and forth with mama. Mama say do X, Y, Z, that's what you do. If mama wrong, mama right. That's just how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you can know dead on, nah, mama, that ain't the way we supposed to go. You just sit back there and go on the ride then. You know what I'm saying? We don't go back and forth with mama. You get mad at it, you go suck it up. And then later on, y'all come back, and if she want to talk about it, y'all will talk about it. But I don't like. I would rather you know what I'm saying, go back and forth with pops. We don't do that with mom. That's just how I feel on that.
I can respect that, especially when you look at it from that perspective, because daddies do get. I don't even know if it's more respect; it's just more fear.
Fear.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
can I say something? So Tristan is listening. He said he needs more context to what you just said, Bill. He like, I don't get it. He said he need more context.
About what? What would he
What you
like to
just
say?
said. More context about what? About just letting me do whatever and be wrong, but right?
Tell him to come sit next to you. I want to see my nephew. He can come get on
Come on.
TV, on the tube.
I told you I didn't. I wasn't trying to. Okay.
I love talking to the you. Come
I
on,
don't.
bring
I
it in.
don't. I don't get what you mean. What do you mean when she's wrong? She's right. Like in what context?
In any context. I mean, whatever the argument is, see, what I'm basically trying to say is we shouldn't be going back and forth with mom. So, like, say if y'all arguing about the sky being blue, honestly, you know what I'm saying? But just to pick a word, you know what I'm saying? And you know the sky is blue, and she telling you the sky is red, right? What I'm saying is, since that's mom, there's no need to go back and forth. You give her the win. Okay.
That's not a win though.
You give it a win because you
You
pull
see
up
what I
positive.
mean?
Okay.
What I'm saying,
right.
this is the thing. What I'm saying is, see, we're not, in my opinion, we're not supposed to be going to any type of length to prove to mom that she's wrong. We're not supposed to be arguing back and forth with mom. That's just how I feel. I don't think there should be any type of argument. Most of the time, it shouldn't even get to the point where you're going back and forth, because it should be, mama said do X, Y, Z. Okay, let me just go get this taken care of. It shouldn't have to be, why do I need to go do that now? Why am I doing this here? Why can't such and such go do it? Any of those questions shouldn't come up.
Yeah.
So there should never get to the point where it's got to decide who was right or wrong on it.
I think I understand what you're saying, but when you break it down like that, to me, and this is because I know, and even you, like, I know you wouldn't have done this, but your personality is when you hear something wrong, you want to correct it. That's
Correct.
just right off the bat.
It
You know
was
what I mean?
different for us though, because
And I know
my
that. That's why I
daddy,
just said I
that
know
was
he wouldn't
that
have
was
did that.
considered disrespectful. So like now
Right.
I allow my kids to tell me, like, say just like you said, we shouldn't say wrong. Like if I'm driving somewhere and I'm about to get off on the wrong exit and I'm trying to tell them, no, this is it. And they like, Mom, no, this is really it. We couldn't do that if my daddy was around.
Okay,
Because
but
he's saying, why are you talking?
But let me context this a little bit too. And I think that to a certain age, because kids, before you get kind of adulthood or like to that, like I'll say maybe 17, 18-year-old age, you're really not equipped to go back and forth with your parent or some of that. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, producer, add Terrence over to the live. You want to give his thoughts for a minute. So you're really not equipped. Send him the link so he can get in, because we ain't got too much more time to let him get in. You're not equipped. So I think, like, say, like right now as an adult, when I hit like 20 something, you're able to articulate yourself and you know how to be respectful, because a lot of times people don't know how to talk. They don't know how to dispute you respectfully. You know what I'm saying? So like with your parents, it always has to be respectful. So I'm not saying, so like Tristan is 18, 19 now? How much am I?
18.
18. At 18, he should be able to say, nah, ma, that ain't right. Or this is what you do. Because now he can articulate that. At 15, I don't believe he can articulate that, because most of the time at 15 now, most 15-year-olds, and I'm not talking specifically about my nephew, they think that they deserve a certain level of respect, and they think they deserve that from their parents, and they have not given anything to their parents to deserve any type of respect back from them. You know what I'm saying? So in my eyes, when they get to a point where they can now be able to take care of themselves, and then they should be able to understand the things that their mother had went through for them. And that's not to say fathers haven't gone through stuff for their kids. I'm not at all saying that. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a little different. I understand with mothers and fathers. There's certain things when, if you feel like you're going to go back and forth with your mother, boys typically, or kids typically, won't go back and forth off bat with their dad.
Nah, because they know he's going to knock them in the face.
That's a fact. But honestly, growing up, I didn't go back and forth with my mother either. Shit,
because your daddy would have killed you.
I had a no, but see, I had a my mama would have choked me up too. I had a healthy fear both of their ass, so it wasn't like
too, though.
So it wasn't like, I could voice my opinion, but I think also in the long run, like that builds a small amount of disdain too. You know what I mean? Like when you really, I'm looking at it from the aspect of the kids, specifically growing up as one of those kids. Like I tell you this all the time. When I was growing up, I used to think my father hated me. Like,
me too.
I used to think he hated me. You know what I'm saying? So like when you dealing with somebody who's basically ruling with an iron fist, and you can't say shit back, ain't nothing you can do. That shit kind of make you like, okay, next time this motherfucker asks me to get their drink, I'm gonna drop their ice on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I feel like, and also in a real aspect.
Before you get off that.
Hold on, let me get this one point out real quick. It took me to a point where I was like, I wasn't comfortable talking to my father about certain things. There were certain things that I probably needed to talk to my dad about, but I wasn't comfortable talking to him about it because I didn't know if he would get upset about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's like as a parent, that's also a line that I want to not blur. You know what I mean? Like, because it's you want to have that
open line of communication.
Right, and you also want to have that, I don't want to say fear, but you also want them to understand what I say goes. But when you rule with an iron fist, you kind of take that line of communication away.
But I think the thing about that, and I mean, it's going to change the narrative of what we're talking about, just to blick on you. But I think in that situation, you had both in the same house, because now the thing is, and I think that helped you flourish into the person that you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, we're giving out flowers. I mean, there are not too many people who are as awesome as you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? But that came from the fact that your father was ruled with an iron fist, but you also had your mom who you can go talk to when you needed some things. You know what I'm saying? So you had that, you still had that subtleness and that softness there, but then you also had that person who was on your neck, and it's like, nah, these things have to get done, and it instilled that in you. So guess what? If you got a deadline, guess what's going to happen? That deadline going to get met.
Yeah.
No matter how the hell you feel, no matter what the fuck going on, you're going to be in this motherfucker half dead from the COVID or whatever, but the deadline going to be getting done. You know how many times I done talked to you and you sick as hell, and I'm like, where you at, man? I'm at work. Why the fuck are you at work? You sick. Take your ass home. Nah, I had to do this, Y, Z. But that comes from what was instilled in you. There are a lot of things that happen in the street now with our youngsters, and it's because of the fact they didn't have those things instilled in them, because as parents, we're too afraid to have that iron fist with them. Some things are going to have to be lost. Like if you're a single parent, I understand we want our kids to have that open line of communication, but it might be best to be that, hey, this is what it is, and that's what it is. Find you another friend you want to talk to, because I need to make sure that you can survive in the street. I'm saying I need to make sure that when somebody say the slightest little thing for you, you don't lose your head. Now I got to visit you either at the morgue or in jail, because you didn't know how to control yourself. You can't take care of yourself because you can't meet a deadline at work. You got all these dreams and aspirations and don't know how to wake up to even get this dream off the ground or something. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we as parents, we got to choose the lesser of some of these evils. What's going on,
What
big guy?
happening?
Wait, I didn't know I was on. I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
tending to
Yeah,
the
he
Tyler
ain't
in the
tell us
back.
neither, man. We gonna get on the producer a little later. He just threw you on in there. Usually, we at least get to introduce you or something. But tell the people who you are.
Hey, so wait. So I tune into y'all every now and again, but we got a Tyler, so I can't engage like I want to. Like I can't engage like I want to now because I still got the Tyler here, and the wife she's out with her friends.
Okay.
But what y'all were talking about being uh not necessarily friends, but tending to your teenagers and the kids and bringing them up. Man, look, I got 6 of them over here. 6, 21, 20, 18, 17, 15, 2.
Yeah, she was doing a
Whose
lot
idea was
of
to get the 2 young?
Look. So
Y'all was
the 2,
almost out of there.
right, we were. So like like Nicole said earlier. So me and Audrey, we have 2 together. So I had 2 biologically coming into the relationship, and she had 3. And we always wanted one together, but her asthma was so fucked up that I was scared to do it. And
Okay.
I mean, she was all for it. I was, nah, fuck that. But 7 years of being like, no breathing problems or whatever, was like, cool. And she probably won't want me to say this, but yes, sir. Go sit
That's
down.
Tyler.
Yeah. See,
He running. See that?
see. Come here, take it. So we went. She had her tubes tied. We went and got her tubes untied to have this one. I know.
So I know you got a soft spot for him. He tell you what the fuck to do.
Yeah. There's a soft spot for him, but he's still my child. Look, we raised, and we didn't raise these with an iron fist. Yes, sir.
See, he
Okay.
ain't got no respect. He ain't even say excuse me.
so can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me ask you a question.
Go sit down.
Having
Go sit down.
2 children from a previous relationship and now new relationship. Well, not so new, but different from
Right.
it's new for me. But is there a difference that you would say between how we all have, okay, I'll say this. I have
Give
2
me a
kids,
second, y'all.
right?
Keep talking.
I have 2 kids, right? They
All
each
right.
have different fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's father is active, okay?
Okay.
I'm not gonna say my son's father is inactive, but he's not there like her. But
Okay.
he's there in the same state and everything. Tristan's dad is in a whole nother state, right? So with Egypt's dad, he's there and he's been around Tristan since Tristan was a year and a half. So they all, his wife, they all treat Tristan like theirs. So there's that. But the styles and rays, and I notice a difference because Tristan pretty much, he doesn't have the influence of his dad. However, I don't even know what his parenting style would be, right? But I know when he would come around, it was always kind of trying to be, and I'm like, relax, you ain't got to be like that. He ain't even that type of kid because his niece was bad as hell. So it's like, you ain't got to be like that with Tristan. Calm down. But Egypt's dad is a different parenting style. So when she would come home, I would find myself having to check her or deprogram her sometimes because it's just different from
Yeah.
this household to that household,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you notice a difference, even though you probably had the same parenting style? Now you have 2 mothers that probably have different parenting styles. Do you notice a difference in your older children? Or would they say, Dad ain't do us like that. You get away with this. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do us like that. He was rough on us.
So the difference between my parenting style and Audrey's parenting style. So I can use 2. My parenting style, Audrey's parenting style and my bonus kids parenting style for their father. He's the father is in and out. So after a while, after they got older, sir, what are we doing? After they got older, his parenting style became non-existent because he wasn't consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Audrey's parenting style, she's very she's very overbearing to them. To me, I get it. To them, she's overbearing because I'm more laid back. You know, I let them make their own mistakes and do what they do, but that's contingent on them doing what I told them to do to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So I lay my rules down. You follow them, we're good. You don't, we have a problem. It's just that simple. With
That's me.
Audrey, she lays her rules down. If you follow them, cool. If you don't, we can work with it. No, ain't no working with it. And that's the dilemma we had with them going back and forth. Um, so they've always been, not always, but for the last at least 12 years, they've been week on, week off. So a week here, a week there. I'm out south, they're out west, right? Nicole, you know what that means, because so
That, but
yeah,
see,
so
that's rough on the kids too, though. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact there's two different parenting styles, they never really get to settle in on how they should act. Because at one place there's going to be a little more freedom. They get to roam and be a little wild and almost kind of like be their own person. And then at another place, they got, oh, we got to do these things. You know what I'm saying? And this is how it is. So it always take a couple days to kind of get readjusted when they first get back.
right. But after I think after the first couple years, they knew once they were in each these different environments, they knew what could fly and what couldn't. So they know kids are smart. Kids
Exactly.
adapt very quickly. I know this. I know this firsthand. Being a military child, being in 6 different schools as a kid, dealing with different, whatever. So I know kids adapt firsthand. And then dealing with them, they get here and they try to pull what they will pull at their mama house. They see it don't work, and it's a problem for an hour or so. Put them in their place. They know what they know what needs to happen. Kids stop thinking. Kids know. Kids know. Don't even let them fool you. They know.
Yeah, I think that it's just when you raising them, and I can't speak to that situation. Fortunately, all my kids are in the house with me, and we one wife. All my kids by one woman, so it's I
You
can't
trying to say
truly
you
speak
better than
to
me?
it.
18 years
No,
old.
I'm not saying I'm better
18.
than them.
Oh, it kind of sounds like you're trying to say you better than me.
Bye. Go.
I'm just saying
Oh, that's your
I can't
baby.
speak to that
That's
struggle.
Taylor. I'm
Did you
sorry.
see
I mean,
Led's comment? I think Les was asking him a question because he has a blended family. Because she had
Oh,
3,
she
he had
is.
2.
She says, "Do you think it's harder having a blended family? Because my husband and I bump heads a lot because he feel like I'm too soft on the boys, but I feel like the shit they do don't bother me."
shit. It's all that shit is subjective. It all depends.
I think
Because
that's strong because I know that situation. She has older boys and she just married a guy. The thing about that is, as a guy coming in, like if I married you, my thought is, look, I'm helping out. I'm the head of the house. Everybody in the house got to, I'm saying, abide by these rules. And if there weren't rules before I came, now the boys can't adapt to it.
yeah,
It's rough because what situation do you leave him in? You know what I'm saying? He can't
yeah,
let them just run wild through the house. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he can't sit back and be like, well, they just got to do what they got to do. I mean, I don't think there should be a head bump. I think the thing is, you should probably tell your kids, look, this my husband, it's your stepfather. These are the rules that, as a couple, y'all should have came up with how y'all gonna do with the rules in the house. And then you gotta let the boys know either y'all gonna follow them or you ain't. But if you ain't, you got wants to go.
How
one
does that
thousand,
work?
one
How does that
thousand
work
percent,
though if you allow the kids to be a
1,000%.
certain way prior to this new relationship? So you've been with these kids till they 17. So they've been this way for 17 years.
Yeah, because it's what
Now,
17. How old are the
15.
boys?
When he just graduated, he's 17, and then you got they there. They teenagers, one couple of years.
So I'm saying like how they are is basically how they are now, and how you, I guess the relationship you've established, it is what it is. So now I can't see that being a bumping of the heads because it's like, okay, this is what worked for us prior to. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any concessions, but it's almost like it got to be a give and take
It
on
got to
both
be a
sides.
give and take on board. He can't fight every fight. You know what I'm saying? He got to pick and choose his battles in there. It got to be some things that are more important than others. There got to be some deal breakers. And then, but guess what? As the boys being that old, and him being a man, he could be able to talk to them directly and be like, okay, look, we in this house together. This is how we got to coexist. There going to be some things that just, if I say this here, like if I say, don't touch this particular thing because this is mine, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to honor that. And if you go behind me and going to do it anyway, just because you're going to show me that I can't tell you what to do, we got to handle that in a different way.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But then go back to you and your wife being on the same page. Because if y'all ain't on the same page, is don't touch my kids.
Yeah.
But also, you know, as I say that, we got him and the wife, they got to have that. And honestly, not saying that they didn't, but that's the discussion we had before we get married.
Go sit down there.
Did
Sure.
your
We got
wife
grown
have?
boys. How we
Did your
gonna do
wife
with this?
have boys? Terrence,
Yeah, she has 2 boys, 1 girl.
were they older or younger?
They were younger. So I think the oldest boy, he was what was that, 13? He was 8. The oldest boy was 8 and the youngest boy was 6. So they were still
moldable.
Yeah, exactly. They were still in that age where I could still mold them to where it fits the dynamic of our household. Never had any, I don't say never had any problems with them, but the problems were minimal with the kids. Very minimal. Even though they were back and forth with their biological father.
Mm-hmm.
That time was minimal too, which played a part. And I don't want to say he wasn't about shit, but he wasn't serious about raising kids. So
yeah, he checked out. He saw that it was somebody who was willing to do it. So it was like, all right, let me see.
Right. So in the end, they end up seeing without us having to say anything, they end up seeing what the deal was. You know what I'm saying? So everything molds to our household. Everything is good here.
Okay.
When it comes to that aspect. But when you're dealing with bonus kids, step kids, whatever you want to call them, all that shit is subjective. Because if the mother and the kids don't have a solid relationship and they're not on the same page, ain't shit gonna ride in the house. It's not gonna happen. It's not. Especially if they're older.
No, older is rough going into a relationship with older kid. It's rough in a blended anyway. It's rough when the thing where when you go into a relationship and they already have children, especially if they're a certain age. It's really rough when you're a man and they're girls that you come into and they're older girls, because now you really want to kind of be hands off in that situation and tell us the fact where it looked like they're going downhill. When it's boys, you think you're supposed to come in and kind of be a mentor or lead them, or at least give them whatever knowledge that you have from the things that are going on. And some of the time with boys, if they've been around their mom and just been with their mom for a long time, they just want to bust the system because they figure they're supposed to be the man in the house and they don't want their mama with nobody else. So sometimes it's just a wall you can't get over.
I think they like her husband. I think they like him. But I also think,
oh, you talking about
yeah, because she put in the comments, I don't think it's that situation. They like him, but like what she was saying, he feels like they don't come to him. And I just think it's too new. They got to get used to it. You know what I'm saying? They're old.
Because they're scared of him. They're scared of him.
I'm not necessarily scared of them. They're not comfortable with it.
No, they're scared of him.
I think they're just not comfortable with it.
I know. I mean, it's like the fact of, okay, remember, Jay, how you said earlier that when you was in the house with your pop, you didn't say certain things because you just thought how he was going to react to him. I think that's the same situation. You know, her husband is from the hood. He a big dude. You know what I'm saying? They used to people going off on them when because I know my little cousin. They do a lot of little boy stupid stuff where it's like you go off on them a lot. They probably figured, man, look, mom kind of used to this. I'm gonna go holler at her. And that dude, because he rough, you know what I'm saying? He probably gonna cuss at me, yell at me, threaten to put his foot in my back or whatever. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna go to mom first so that she know what's happening, and then she gonna be the buffer in between. I think that's just what it is with them. You know what I'm saying? You want to say cautious, scared, aware, whatever it is. That's like they wouldn't talk to me. If I come over there, they avoid me the same way. They get right ahead because they head down right to their room. Because they know I ain't going for none of that nonsense.
I think we can put a pin in it right there. We getting the exit stage left music. Yeah, we getting the music from our producer now.
We gonna get out of here, Terrence. We want to appreciate you for coming on, hollering at us.
Next
Next week, the week after, any other time, man, come on in. What's
Yeah,
your man name?
Oh, but wait, don't you make t-shirts?
What you say?
Wait, say that again.
Don't you make t-shirts?
I do.
What's it called?
So hold on.
I'm sorry, y'all. Real
I'm
quick.
sorry. Say that again.
The name of your t-shirt company, ain't it?
It's shirt. Oh, shirt just got real.
Right. Okay.
So,
I like that. I like that.
Right. Shit just got real without the R. I mean, with the R in it.
The shirt just got real.
got real.
All right.
So look.
Where was you at when we did Black Businessmen for a whole month?
Man, look. I have a toddler.
And we should have promoted that Black business.
Look. Hey, say hey. I can't do nothing with that.
He's supposed to have a shirt on to say "Shirt just got real."
Look, next time y'all get on, man, I like what y'all do.
Okay.
Just being able to be part of this conversation and know that it's other folks going through the shit that I go through with these kids and just life, period. I'm all for it.
All right.
Well, I can tell you this: we here every Friday, 7:35. So check us out. Tell your friends. Tell your ex-wife to tell her friends. Tell your new wife to tell her friends. Tell the kids to tell their friends.
Yo, when I tell Audrey that I was on here with you, Nicole, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Hey, look, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
All right.
We appreciate you
later.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
right. We are getting
asking personal questions.
Huh? Talking about that?
Yeah. I'll tell you later, ma'am.
We finna get out of here. Before we go, I don't want to say too many names because of I'm not big on Facebook, but as y'all know, I coach football. I've been coaching for a very long time. I had a young man who he was, I don't want to say killed because I don't know the exact situation, but he died. In Illinois a couple days ago, there was a car found on I-57, pulled over to the side. When they called for it, they thought it was an accident. When the police showed up, the young man in the car, he had been shot, but we don't know what happened.
Does that play for you?
Yes. Well, he played for me. He's an adult now. He's 20 years old. He was 21 years old. I just want to say, I want to tell his parents, you know what I'm saying, that because I didn't get by to see them today. I wanted to go by and see him. So just in case they see it, I want to tell them my heart goes out for him. I don't know what we can do in these situations. I'm just kind of over the fact of the young man getting shot in general, not just him, of young men in a whole getting shot. I wish there was something that I could do to kind of help the situations, not just his, but like just kind of stop it. But I don't know what's going on with it. And I think that's probably part of the reason I wanted to talk about children tonight. But I'm kind of lost. I'm usually not lost for words in situations like this, but it's also the fact that I hate to get in front of people and talk about their situation before they have actually talked enough about it, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, I think that's kind of disrespectful. But I was really close with the young man. I mean, he was one of my, like, every year you got a kid that you really like. I really liked the kid. He was a little dark. I called him my little son. He was dark just like me, big head just like mine and stuff like that. And he had heart, like he had heart. And I thought he was doing pretty good in life. So, but we don't know what happened. We don't know if somebody shot the car while he was driving past, or somebody was in the car with him and shot him and got out, or he got shot somewhere and was trying to drive away. We don't know what the situation is. Nobody kind of has any leads on it. But I just want everybody to kind of get. And the thing is, I don't want to put his name out, you know what I'm saying, just because of the fact of what's going on with social media and stuff like that. But I just wanted to tell his family. Audibly, I wanted to tell his family that, my heart goes out to him. So with that, that's all I wanted to talk about with that.
Yeah, that's
unfortunate.
So, but we are going to leave you guys. We appreciate you guys coming to talk to us. I really appreciated the conversation with Terrence. everybody who commented, as always, we appreciate you guys. Like I said, we are on Facebook and YouTube simultaneous now, so you can check us on YouTube. You can go to YouTube to catch replays of it. It's always posted there. We will be transposing the other episodes over to there. Thank you, Titus. I appreciate that. And then you can catch us Instagram, Facebook. Please like, subscribe, share, all the things that they tell you to do. If you go to YouTube, hit the notification thing, hit the bell, let them know that you like what's going on there. If you have any topics that you guys think you want us to talk about, then let us know that also. If there's anything that's near and dear to your hearts, tell us about it. We got opinions about everything. We think we know something about everything. I mean, if it's a problem you got, we probably can help get it solved, or we can all work together as a community to get it solved. So with that, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to fade to the back and let my backup singer say something.
I'm Michelle.
Don't got nothing to say. As always, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Help us grow this community. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Have a safe weekend. I ain't calling this a holiday because we had our holiday a couple weeks ago. But have a safe weekend, and we'll catch y'all back here next week. Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. Wait before you speak. We got a real one holiday coming up on the 6th. So we got to make sure that we throw that out there.
For those who don't know, we got a real Nigette holiday. July 6th. It's going down. She's going to be in Chicago. So you'll turn up, turn out. We're going to be piped all the way up.
Happy birthday early.
Thank you.
All
right.
With that being said, I guess we can get out of here.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Where my piece at? There it is. Bam.